All right, let's just dive right in. We all experience anger. It's part of being human. But what if we've been looking at it completely the wrong way? What if anger isn't some character flaw or even just a powerful emotion, but actually a critical technical problem, a full-on system error happening inside our own mental operating system? Today, we're basically going to reboot our entire understanding of anger. You hear this all the time, right? People say things like, oh, I used my anger as fuel. It's this really common belief that anger is somehow a productive force, a source of energy that helps us solve problems. But is that what's actually happening? Let's take a peek at the source code and see if that idea really holds up. So the ancient Pali term for the state is Vyāpāda. And the way this term is broken down, especially when you look at it through a modern lens, is just fascinating. It's not just anger or ill will. It's describing a really specific kind of malfunction, a state where the mind gets totally stuck in an infinite loop, just constantly hitting reject on the reality of a situation. And what happens when a program gets stuck in a loop like that? Well, it leads to a total system crash. So, how does this crash actually happen? To figure that out, we kind of need to look at the anatomy of the error itself. By breaking down the word Vyāpāda, we can see what's really going on under the hood when our whole system just fails. And the word itself tells a really cool story. Vyāpāda is made of two parts. First, you've got V, which means something like twisted, wrong, or deviated. Then you have Apada, which means arrival, or entry, or stepping into a state. Now, when you put them together, you start to see the problem, right? So when we put those two parts together, we get a much more precise and, frankly, a much more useful definition. Vyāpāda is the act of entering a destructive state specifically because we are responding to what's happening in a twisted, incorrect way. See? It's not just a feeling that happens to us. It's a faulty process that we're running. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates the core issue. Think of it exactly like a short circuit. When some unwanted data comes in, something we really don't like, our response gets its wires crossed. And instead of processing it smoothly, the system just sparks, short circuits, and basically starts a fire in your head. Okay, so how does this one little short circuit escalate into something more catastrophic? Well, this isn't a minor bug. It causes serious cascading damage. We can actually break this damage down into 4 distinct glitches that really show the true cost of this system error. So, first up, we have the short circuit itself. When that unwanted information arrives, our mental circuits don't just spark, they actually start to burn. And all the heat from this burnout makes any kind of cool-headed rational analysis, well, completely impossible. Wisdom quite literally goes up in smoke. The second glitch is like installing wiper malware on your own computer. Now, this kind of malicious code is nasty. Its only purpose is to destroy the system it's on. So when you wish harm on someone else, you're basically installing that destructive code on your own mental server. And because that code is running on your system, it's your own peace and your own clarity that get deleted first. Then there's the third glitch. Think of it like engine knocking in a car. That's what happens when fuel ignites at the wrong time, and it sends this damaging shockwave through the engine. Vyāpāda is a kind of emotional knocking. It's this uncontrolled explosion of feeling that seriously damages the very engine of your personality. It causes a massive drop in your power and your efficiency. And finally, the fourth glitch, the overheating CPU. I mean, any powerful system needs a good cooling mechanism, right? For our mind, that coolant is something called metta, or loving kindness. When Vyāpāda takes over, it's a giant red flag that our cooling system has failed. The processor is overheating and we are heading for a catastrophic meltdown. So, we've diagnosed the problem, the glitches, the catastrophic failures. The obvious question is, how do we fix it? How do we reboot the mind when it crashes like this? Well, luckily, there's a user's guide for system recovery. It's a pretty straightforward 3-step process. First, you have to detect the error message. Just use mindfulness, or sati, to simply notice that alert popping up. Step 2, identify the malicious code. Instead of getting lost in the drama of the anger, you just recognize, okay, the malware of ill will is now running and it's burning my circuits. That recognition is absolutely key. And third, reboot the system. Apply the coolant, that loving kindness, to cool things down. That creates the mental space you need for a clean restart. So the crucial point here, the main takeaway is this. We have to completely abandon the idea that anger is energy for solving problems. It's not. It is the problem. It is the system shut down. I mean, think about it. When your computer crashes, the crash doesn't help you finish your work. It's the very thing stopping you. Anger works the exact same way. And this is really the bottom line. The reason this Vyāpāda aram is considered such a massive barrier to wisdom is actually very simple. An overheated system can never calculate the truth. All of its resources are being spent just dealing with the heat and the shutdown. There's simply no processing power left for clarity. So the next time you feel that heat rising, the circuits starting to spark, you can see it for what it truly is. It's not a source of power. It's a critical error message. The only question left is the one right there on your screen. Your system is reporting a critical error. Are you going to reboot?